Hello gamers, if you want to do something that stimulates the brain, then puzzle games are just the thing you should look into. We've looked through the game market to compose this list of the absolute best PC puzzle games to play right now. We haven't tried to rank the greatest puzzlers in the history of everything, just great modern games we think you'll enjoy a lot. Here are some of our favorite modern puzzle games that you can play that will pleasantly twist your brain into knots. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Number 10. The Turing Test. The Turing Test is a puzzler, Portal-style game with a really neat story with multiple endings that truly depends on how you want it to play out. The puzzles are each unique and really fun, and they introduce new mechanics every few chambers. Each of the techniques, methods, and mechanics used to solve these puzzles are very interesting and exciting. Going by the philosophical excursions of this game and the antagonistic AI, it feels like it was trying to follow into the footsteps of the Talos Principle and Portal 2, which is already a tall order, however it really fell short of that ambition. Nevertheless, it's short, simple and well-made puzzle game with an interesting and touching story. Number 9. Antichamber. It is a game that has a lot to teach you without saying a word. It bends your mind to think in ways you haven't before in order to solve all the puzzles presented to you. There are definite rules in its stripped-down corridors and cryptic rooms, they just take an entirely different perspective, sometimes literally, to understand. There's no invasive narrative precedence to speak of, so the gameplay is reduced to exploration that hinges entirely on the player's curiosity. You spend the majority of the game encountering strange architecture or tools attempting to decipher if they can be used to traverse through an environment or to clue you in on other rules in Antichamber's world. Most conventions of how we understand physical space through the first-person perspective are twisted in subtle ways or thrown out completely. Number 8. Superliminal. This game is so amazing. I watched the trailer for it before buying and was immediately intrigued. After playing for just 5 minutes, I was so impressed with the animation and creativity of this game. Throughout the entire gameplay, there are so many small things to look out for and puzzles that are super fun to figure out. You start out with your character watching a commercial about lucid dreaming and then waking up to start a dream simulation. As you literally break the walls of your dreams, you see behind the scenes of how you are traveling through them. This game made me calm, scared, and even laugh at some point. It truly shows you that what you believe is not always what you see. Number 7. Hexcells. This is what Minesweeper should have been. Basically, this game is six-sided Minesweeper, but with the guessing element completely removed. You never have to guess a single time in any of the puzzles, and you will always have enough information available to you to make the next move. It's a game of pure logic and deduction, and one that will truly test your skills in the later levels. My only complaint is that the game is pretty short, but there is also Hexcells Plus and Hexcells Infinite to play. Short, interesting puzzle game that does not overstay. Number 6. Lara Croft Go. Lara Croft Go is a surprisingly enjoyable mini-puzzle game in the universe of the Tomb Raider with the name Lara Croft. Through many different passages, Lara has to find artifacts while trying to avoid traps and hostile beasts. The graphics suit the game nicely along with nice scenery and music to match. The levels vary in difficulty with crumbling surfaces, moving platforms, boulders followed by the denizens with things like snakes, spiders and large lizards which will need to be manipulated in one way or another to proceed. Quite an enjoyable puzzle game experience. Number 5. Baba Is You. Rather than the player always being at the mercy of a game's rules, Baba Is You lets the player decide the rules of the universe for once. In fact, the whole challenge comes in the form of deciding how different aspects of the environment will interact with one another in order to proceed forward. In a true retro game art style, this is a game that will run on most PCs and is also incredibly addicting to play. That being said, Baba Is You is very challenging by nature and requires a lot of thinking outside of the box, along with a dash of crazy creativity. Number 4. The Witness. If you're into open-world experiences and would love to walk around in a gorgeous environment while solving puzzles and piecing together your own story, The Witness just might be the game for you. Without any recollection of your past, you wake up on an island filled with mysteries and strange puzzles. The Witness's strength comes from how big of a game it is and how robust it is. There's well over 500 puzzles in the game, and these are not simple ones either. The game has a bit of a learning curve when it comes to solving its problems, but there's nothing more rewarding than getting through a particularly tough riddle. Number 3. The Talos Principle. This is a masterful puzzle experience that has adept design philosophies that create thoroughly engaging puzzles coupled with additional story elements that can unexpectedly challenge your lines of thinking philosophically. Whilst this game is tailored to more experienced puzzle players, its methodologies for streamlining the learning process allows players to overcome difficult mental hurdles without the use of external guides and such. The most thought-provoking game I've played in a long time, perhaps ever. Come for the puzzles, stay for the philosophy. Number 2. The Room series. The Room is a series of 4 addictive 3D puzzle games, each of which is divided into stages or rooms. These rooms carry a number of hidden puzzles which you must solve in order to progress. This process should be repeated over and over in order to reach the end game. But keep in mind that both the quantity and complexity of puzzles will increase with every passing level. The new addition in the series, The Room Old Sins, carry features like cloud saving and an exploration element which sets the game apart from the previous 3 installments. As always, playing The Room is an amazing experience that balances thinking, feeling, and a little something else I cannot describe. Number 1. Portal series. No list of best puzzle games is complete without Valve's Portal series, and I can say that with complete confidence. Their brilliance cannot be simply ignored. Initially released as part of a 5-game collection called the Orange Box, the original Portal was more of an experiment with just few dialogue and short gameplay. Nevertheless, it makes up for that in intensity and excitement. Keeping Portal's initial success in mind, Valve launched Portal 2 with superior mechanics and more elaborative gameplay. Both games are based on a simple premise in which players solve puzzles using portals. Portal series is one of the greatest games I've played, and this is actually coming from a person who doesn't even like platformers and puzzle games a lot. That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. And if you find the video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.